At 61 years old, Alan Sinclair was the picture of suburban success. A retired banker, doting grandfather, and devoted husband to Margaret for over 40 years. At least that's how it appeared. Beneath the facade lay a restless man desperate to reclaim a version of youth he believed had slipped away. Then came Olivia. The dinner party revelation. Margaret had spent weeks preparing for their annual dinner party. As guests mingled, Alan introduced Olivia, a vivacious 28-year-old marketing consultant. "She's been helping me with some personal investments," Alan said, barely masking his admiration. Margaret's heart sank as Olivia's hand lingered too long on his arm, her laugh too intimate for polite company. Whispers spread like wildfire among the guests. Margaret felt the eyes of her friends, their silent pity, stinging worse than any slap. The gym incident shortly after. Encouraged by Olivia, Alan joined a high-end gym. One day, Margaret decided to accompany him to his workout. Olivia was there, wearing a skin-tight outfit and barking orders at Alan as he struggled with the weights. She tossed a scornful look at Margaret, and with her eyes glinting, she quipped, "Margaret, maybe you should only stick to the yoga class." The young woman's comment was met with laughter from nearby gym-goers. Margaret's cheeks burned as she walked away, her pride crushed. Public snub at the gala. Another incident followed when Margaret arrived at a charity gala, expecting Alan to escort her as usual. Instead, she found him arm in arm with Olivia. "Oh, Margaret, you look comfortable," Olivia said with a mocking smile, as photographers snapped pictures. Alan avoided Margaret's eyes, leaving her to navigate the crowd alone, humiliated. Financial betrayal. One morning during her regular weekend shopping, to Margaret's utmost surprise, her bank card was declined. Confused, she logged into their joint account to discover Alan had drained their savings to fund Olivia's startup. When confronted, Alan waved her off. "It's a business investment." "Stop being so dramatic," he snapped, his words slicing through her like a dagger. The social media mockery. Later that day, Margaret's daughter called in tears, asking if she had seen Olivia's Instagram. The younger woman had posted a picture of herself in Alan's lap, captioned, "When you find the one who truly understands you." The post went viral, turning Margaret's private anguish into public humiliation. The family betrayal. But the public humiliation was just beginning. At their granddaughter's birthday party, Olivia arrived uninvited, clinging to Alan. Margaret's son pulled her aside. "Dad's embarrassing all of us," he whispered. But when Margaret tried to confront Alan, he exploded. "Stop ruining the day with your jealousy," shouted, leaving Margaret to retreat in tears. The abandoned anniversary. The days went by, and so did their 40th wedding anniversary. No mention of it, and no celebration. In fact, Alan spent that day on a weekend getaway with Olivia, leaving Margaret to dine alone. When friends called to congratulate her, she lied, saying Alan was working late. The car accident events took a drastic turn when Margaret received a call late one night. Alan had been in a car accident, Olivia at the wheel. Arriving at the hospital, Margaret found Olivia berating Alan for letting her take the blame with the police. Alan barely acknowledged Margaret, his focus entirely on soothing Olivia. The legal ultimatum. Margaret's lawyer called with shocking news. Alan had filed for divorce. The paperwork included demands to sell their house and split the proceeds, leaving Margaret financially vulnerable. "He says he needs a fresh start," the lawyer explained, sympathy evident in his tone. The physical threat. Margaret was devastated. She became numb, questioning herself about what she should do next. Then late one evening, Margaret returned home to find Olivia waiting outside. The younger woman cornered her, hurling insults and threats. "You're pathetic, bitch. Just sign the papers and disappear." Alan doesn't need dead weight holding him back. Olivia's menacing tone sent a shiver down Margaret's spine. The turning point. Margaret hit rock bottom but refused to stay there. She hired a private investigator, uncovering Olivia's history of manipulating wealthy men. Armed with evidence, Margaret exposed Olivia's schemes to Alan and the public. The younger woman's business crumbled, and Alan found himself abandoned and disgraced. Margaret filed for divorce on her terms, securing the house and a significant financial settlement. She reconnected with old friends, joined a social group, and started painting again. A few years later, at the insistence of her friends, she subscribed to an online dating site where she connected with Harold, who was also divorced. Their relationship flourished and was characterized by respect, equity, and beautiful communication. In this relationship, Margaret felt loved, with a sense of dignity, peace, self-worth, and appreciation. On a sunny afternoon, she held an art exhibition where one painting drew particular attention, a phoenix rising from the ashes. Margaret stood tall, her triumph evident. Margaret had learned some valuable lessons from this ordeal. Lessons learned, senior ladies. 1. Trust your instincts. Margaret's suspicions about Alan and Olivia were dismissed, but her intuition was correct. 2. Seek support. Friends, family, and professionals provided Margaret the strength to fight back. 3. Protect yourself financially. Dependency can leave you vulnerable. Always maintain some independence. Know your worth. Margaret's journey reminded her that self-respect and dignity are non-negotiable. Thanks for watching. We do appreciate it, just as we would appreciate your comments on this story. Have you or someone you know faced a betrayal like Margaret's? How did you handle it? Share your stories in the comments below. Let's start a conversation about resilience and self-worth. In the meantime, forget to like and subscribe to our channel and head on over to our website, theseniordatinghub.com, for more tips and stories on this exciting and dynamic world of senior dating. Have a happy life.